attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here. And now, the reason why I am releasing part 2 to this series is because I just sat down and watched the first 2 Underworld movies. Yes, back to back, before someone does ask. And, surprise, surprise, I actually forgot quite a lot of the first one. It feels different. The second one I remembered a lot more. The vampire guy, the design on him, that shit was unforgettable. I think I had a nightmare about that once as a kid. Jesus, I feel old. Anyways, now, let us begin. Whenever we last left off, we had Izuku Midoriya. At the age of 8 years old, he basically had to run away from home with his mother. And they learned that an apartment complex exploded on the radio. Asashi worked as a mechanic, and whenever he was fixing up a truck, instead of giving it to the man he was supposed to, he gave it to Inko and Deku to basically run away. Get out of here and stay safe. Keep moving. Basically emptying their entire savings and giving it to Inko, along with a box containing everything Deku will need to know. Deku has already learned a few things, specifically about Nightshade, what to do with it, how to use it, and mostly that if he ever does encounter some strange thing, use the knife that his dad hides away in the box. Now, the knife is made of silver. However, it's not really going to do a lot. It's more or less to ward them off. Let them know that you have weaponry that can hurt them. And whenever they do back off, run. Get somewhere safe and far away. Now, with that, let us pick up with Midoriya and Inko. They are currently driving. Inko, after spending the night in the truck and basically doing everything Hasashi told her to do, it's been a bit difficult. They've been on the road for about a week. Midoriya is restless and is simply just asking when they can go home. Inko's tried explaining it, and Midoriya, he doesn't really understand it. He is completely unaware of the fact that his father is dead, and exactly what type of life he has to live now. They are on the run, and they have to keep moving. Now, tonight, well, it's not easy. Whenever they did get snacks in the nearby town, they had to basically come out here. Inko drove into the wilderness and made sure that they can set up camp for the night. This old pickup truck is good and all, but Midoriya did want to at least stay here. And she's gonna do it just so that he will stop complaining. And she can properly sit him down and explain to him what's going on. Now, Midoriya does begin to do what his father told him about. Things his dad had to do in his own past. Collect firewood. Look for any sort of berries and or food. Now, Midoriya begins to do this. looking through and actually finding firewood, berries, and a few other things. And Inko is surprised whenever, after a couple minutes, Midoriya actually was able to start a fire. That's a bit concerning. Then again, he was taught to by Hisashi. And as far as she knows, yeah. What's going on right now? It's very bad. And it isn't going to be very easy. They can't just keep going on like this. Yeah, they still have money, but they can't just waste it spending the night at a hotel. And or at least making sure that they stay clean sometimes. Otherwise, what else are they going to do? Inko is trying to figure out a way to get out of the country. Plane tickets, they're too expensive. Plus, you need ID. And yeah, most of the ways, you're probably screwed. Now, with that being said, after they do sit down and begin to talk, Inko goes over explaining exactly what's going on. And after Midoriya does have his first s'more, learning that his father is gone was heartbreaking. Learning that his dad wanted him to have something in here, a box. It basically shows the actual truth and evidence. Now, Midoriya, he may not be able to watch the tapes or things, but he can clearly tell that it's all important. His father has constantly drilled into his mind that these things are real. He doesn't need to see the evidence. And Inko does actually take out the blade and show it to him. Her trying to teach Midoriya exactly what to do and how to be careful with it, allowing him to actually hold it and mess with it for a while. Basically making sure that he doesn't at least cut his hand, since that would be very bad. Now, Midoriya, he also does take a few of these nightshade berries, the ones his father has told him to constantly take. However, to be wary of, not to take too much. And Inko does take some too. The feeling of, well, yeah, eating one of these things does pass, but it doesn't get any easier. Along with the fact that Midoriya is trying to mourn his father. And, well, he simply just begins to collect more firewood. And using his new little blade, he begins to at least begin to cut away at some. And sharpen it into a simple stick. Just so that he could. Him getting bored. And eventually falling asleep. Inko? Yeah. She does put out the fire and put a blanket on Midoriya. Before, at least, making sure that they can cover themselves with a tarp in the back of the truck. As to make sure that they don't get wet and, well, bugs don't end up in their mouth. Or at least crawling all over them while they sleep. Now, they do eventually wake up, and Inko, she does get them back on the road. Them continuing this way for a bit of time. Until they do begin to pass through a town. And they actually do have to stop. For some of their food. Things that they have that don't need to either be refrigerated and or put on ice. Or stay cold. Basically things like chips, bottled water, bottled soda, anything really. Now, with that being said, whenever they are in town, Midoriya, he finds it to be a bit cool. and interesting the way things are here. However, there is a bit of a problem. Whenever there is a villain attack, Inko and him having to leave quickly, and trying to make sure to stay out of sight, and keep their faces concealed. They try and stay away from this type of stuff. If there's a chance that even a camera sees their faces, they're done for. And they are hiding, doing this routine over and over and over again, living the life on the road, and occasionally stopping to camp. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, yeah, this goes on for months upon months upon months. And the money, it has run out. Inko's explored a lot of avenues. Tried paying someone off to see exactly how much it would take to get them out of the country. The price is too high. Or it seems a bit risky. Especially since that person does either want to know who they are or see some ID. Now, Inko, she's also had to get the truck repaired at least a little bit. At least a little bit. Now, with that being said, Inko and Midoriya, yeah. Eventually, they had to stay in one place. Inko basically having to hide the truck somewhere with the last, tank of gas they had. She's gonna try and find a bit of work here, and see what she can do. Now, Midoriya, yeah, his childhood is rough. At first, it was they had to do these things. And, oh hey, your father's dead, now you're traveling. Now you're doing all this, and all this. And it doesn't get any easier. In fact, things just feel like they get harder. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, yeah, they spend some time in this town. And Inko, she seems to be finding money somewhere. And getting it from some place. Midoriya is unsure as to where though. Since when they started moving again, Inko was very, very quick to get out of town. Meaning that she's done something bad. And Midoriya, he doesn't really understand what she did. Now, Inko, she tried to take some money from some loan sharks. It was very risky. And whenever some people wouldn't give her money, she stole it. Stole it from somewhere else. Now, with that being said, this is how Midoriya lives his life now. He didn't like it at first. However, he began to grow accustomed to it, and warm up to this way of life. Knowing that whatever is going on, whatever he's been dragged into, whatever his father and his family has been dragged into, they're dragged into some sort of war. And, yikes, life isn't easy. Not for anyone. No man was created equal. For he is the man who is hunted by dogs and bats. Now, Midoriya, eventually, after a bit of time, he became the one who would get some money. And Inko and him became a bit of a duo. She would take some money from some people, and Midoriya would pretend to say that he got her, and pay it back. Whenever they would give him the money, Inko would simply use her quirk, and disarm the men, quickly pulling their knives up into the air or their guns, and Midoriya would take a shot at them, before running off. Now, so far they have not encountered any Lycans. Meanwhile, you do have the last couple of years. The Lycans and the vampires. The Lycans have been trying to keep under wraps exactly that they are tracking down this human. Since the vampires that were made aware, yeah, they had to do a bit of explaining as to why they were hunting down this man. They believe that he may have saw something, and or may have witnessed a vampire crime, meaning that he knows of their existence. However, the man, he has a family, and they might have been told or seen any evidence. So they're trying to hunt them down because they may just be some other loose ends. And with the fact that they ran, it became more apparent that they knew about it. Now, the vampires, they're trying to investigate this further. The Lycans, they're simply just trying to hunt him down. And they've been unsuccessful. They've picked up the trail before and have lost it. Since this boy became very, very hard to find. Now, we will cut to roughly, let's see, up to Midoriya being 15 years old. And he's currently thinking right now. From what he's heard, UA, that very, very high and mighty school back in their hometown, they're currently doing the entrance exams. He's wondering what life would be like back there. And it's actually a bit curious. Him just thinking about it. As he goes to zip up his fly and run back to the truck. Running back from the forest. And having to watch his step over a few of the bushes and leaves. Since that one's poison ivy, so is that one, and that one. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of poison ivy. He has to walk around. Yeah. Anyways. Now, Midoriya does get back into the truck and hop in. Him and his mother leaving. And they're heading to the last place that anyone would expect them to be. They're heading to a place that is a very small fishing town. Hopefully, no one comes looking around for them. And if Midoriya can try and at least get a job here, it can help them get some good income. They've messed with quite a lot of the wrong people in their time. Midoriya has had to toughen up and stop being that little kid. He knows now that heroes, yeah, sometimes they're stopping you from doing the right thing. However, he's doing the right thing for the wrong reason. He's had to steal food, steal money for food, and at least knock out a pro hero who tried to stop him once. Now, he doesn't really like the way he's been living, but it's what he has to do. Now, whenever they do get to this town, they are actually able to hide. Whenever someone asked his name, he simply said Michael. That is the name he's going by right now. Michael. While Inko, she does go by another name. And they hide out in the town. Eventually, they are able to blend in, and no one suspects Midoriya of being an outsider. In fact, they were welcomed into the community quite fast. And Midoriya begins to work. The place, yeah, it's a very small town, but he was able to get some work on a fishing boat. And it's actually some pretty good money. Especially since he gets paid directly after a days of work. Now, anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.